Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
A house in the middle of our street.
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty. A salute to home ownership. Hey, well, we made it through another year. Congratulations to everybody who's arrived with me. And are you ready? Are you ready for the big soiree to be happening this weekend? That's right. We're ringing out an old and bringing in a new. And so that's what this podcast is all about with you today, is talking about what made 2022, what made the news in real estate this year. Actually, what it really is it's a review. It's a 2022 a year in review of real estate, and that's what's going on. But hey, if you're new to the podcast and you don't want to miss any further episodes, you can sign up for the podcast here at Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Real Estate Connection with the cowboy in the corner, and just smash that subscribe button, and then you will never miss an episode. It will be uploaded to you, and you'll get a notification. It'll be fantastic. And if you just want to be added to my podcast distribution list, send me your name and email address to the email address listed on the screen. It says info@realestateconnectionradio.com. That's info@realestateconnectionradio.com. This is also the time of year when most sellers are making the final decision to put their house on the market in the spring. You've probably been thinking about it through October, or maybe even earlier last year, saying, hey, honey, this is our last year in this house. We need to be moving on. We're looking to find a new place, whether you're either moving up or moving down. You're thinking about hitting that market in the spring. I will tell you that the real estate season officially starts the day after Super Bowl, because wives can't get their husbands off the couch until after the big game is over. And so that is in, I believe, the third week of February. So if you're at all thinking about putting your house on the market and you'd like to take advantage of working with Good Patriot Realty, give Stephen Theard, your broker, a call at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. I'd be happy to help you. Or if you're a buyer and you're thinking about diving into the real estate market in 2023, and you'd like some help navigating through that process, give me a phone call at 408-472-0817, especially our veterans out there who are looking to take advantage of the VA benefit, which can mean zero money down. You heard it right, zero money down for veterans taking advantage of the VA benefit. That's about as low as you can go as far as a down payment is concerned. Interest rates traditionally are a little bit lower for the VA benefit. However, it does fluctuate between Fair Housing Administration loans, or FHA, and VA. But if you're at all thinking about jumping into that hot real estate market, or actually cooled real estate market in 2023 as interest rates begin to settle, give me a call at 408-472-0817. But without any further ado, we are going to get into what we are here for, and that's 2022, a year in review for real estate throughout the United States of America. Now, I got this information from an Inman article. Now, Inman's a trade organization that puts out information for real estate professionals that a lot of us subscribe to. This was written by Ben Verdi on December 29th, 2022. So it was written today. And the information in it I thought was very good, and I thought I would share it with you today. So what's the first point that happened? The first big bit of news for 2022, a year in a review. Number one is 35.4% is the number. Home sales plummet. Sales of existing homes dropped by 35.4% between November 2021 and November of 2022, when the most recent data from the National Association of Realtors was available. Now, the rapid rise in interest rates, which I know a lot of people have been talking about around the holiday dinner table, has contributed mightily to this fact. Now, you don't remember, which I think you probably do, at the beginning of this year, we've kind of had two real estate years in 2022. In the beginning of this year, the first 3 months, the market was still roasting. It was on fire. You would list a property, it'd be on the market for a week, you'd have multiple offers, and the house would sell for way over the asking amount. You could predict the pattern that was going to happen. And I was blessed enough to participate in 3 of those transactions in each month of this year, January, February, and March. And that's exactly what did happen. But as interest rates started to go up because of the actions of the Federal Reserve, the market started to cool. And I would say it was more like somebody going over to a water spigot and just turning it off. Somebody went and pushed the power button on the generator and turned that thing off, and the party was over. So that's what happened. We've had a plummet in home sales since interest rates started going up in 2022. So again, a tale of 2 seasons. The first quarter and then the last 3 quarters have just been total devastation compared to where we were in 2021 to 2022. Now, what is the other significant number that we're going to be talking about right now? And that is $888. Now you'll say, Stephen, what are you talking about this $888? Well, ownership costs soar for owning a home in the United States of America. Let me say that again. Ownership costs soar for owning a home in the United States of America. It costs $888 more per month to own a home than to rent one by the end of 2022. What does that mean? Inflation. Everything has gone up. The cost of lumber, the cost of delivering goods and materials to warehouse stores. So if you're going to fix a toilet or replace a toilet or put in new plumbing or other things like that, the cost has gone through the roof, as well as heating costs. The cost of gasoline, the cost of oil, the cost of coal has all gone up, along with all the other things that go into home ownership. So it's become more expensive to own a home than it is to rent a home as of this time this year. Now, hopefully, the Fed will get a handle on inflationary pressures. Hopefully, they won't raise interest rates anymore. And, I read an article recently that said the Fed wants to see more unemployment claims and the economy to slow down even further before they stop this rate hike. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. We're already suffering out here, and you want us to suffer more before you pull back on those rate hikes. And you can see it throughout the United States with more layoffs. The real estate industry has been decimated. CEOs have lost positions. There have been lawsuits. They've even been laying off support staff in large real estate offices, and the stock values of some of these publicly traded real estate companies have really gone down. Now, what's the next big number we're going to talk about in this review of 2022? The number is 10.1%. So price growth decreases 10.1% between October 2021 and October 2022, a significantly slower rate than earlier in 2022. And that goes right back to my point. It's basically a tale of 2 years. The first quarter of 2022, which saw the continual hot market that we had in 2021 roll into the first 3 months, and then a cooling that started the decrease in home values. So price growth has come down 10.1%. This has also been tapered demand brought on by high mortgage rates has managed to slow home price appreciation significantly. So it's always going to go back to one point, and that point is interest rates. All of this is having to do with the increase in interest rates. If interest rates had not gone up, we probably would still be rolling pretty hot and heavy in the real estate market because the cost of borrowing money has gone up. People can afford to borrow less for the same amount of payment. I recently met with somebody this week talking about purchasing a home, and I explained that it all pivots around the monthly payment. So if your monthly payment is $3,500 a month that you're comfortable with, right? With a lower interest rate, you could borrow more money and still have that $3,500 a month payment because you're going to back into the dollars that you can borrow based on the interest rate. Now, when interest rates go up, that $3,500 will afford you to borrow less money. So people were out there and they had a monthly payment that they were working with. And as interest rates went up, the amount of money they could borrow went down. And no matter how well they crunched the numbers, they just could not get it to work. And so buyers were getting kicked out of the market because of the increase in interest rates. All right, so let's get into some pricing, some price points for the United States of America. The number is $357,733. That was the typical home's value. So the typical home value was valued at $357,733 in November of 2022 after beginning the year at $334,081 in January. The increase is an increase of $23,652 according to data from Zillow. So even though we've had a slowdown in the real estate market, the median or the typical home value throughout the United States of America has still increased by $23,652. And we can attribute that to the first 3 months of the year when the market was still going up very strong. Home values climbed at a far less dramatic rate than they did in 2021 when they rose by $45,767 between January and November, according to Zillow's data. So what that tells you is we did have the appreciation in the first quarter of 2022, but after that, it tapered off dramatically and started to edge downward. Now, in California, where we have a high cost of living state, and the home values skyrocketed at an exponentially higher rate than the rest of the country, you're probably, if you looked at just California's data, it would probably show a larger discrepancy than we're seeing for the rest of the country. I did read an article recently that said home values for 2023 were going to stay flat, increase at a very nominal rate of 0.3% throughout the United States of America. But for California, we'd see a decline. Now, we're seeing a lot of mixed information about what will actually happen in 2023 because nobody has a crystal ball and everybody is looking at it from a different perspective. Some people are being a bit more bullish about the market and some people are being a little more bearish about the market. And so between the two, that's probably going to average out of some price decreasing in areas where it's further or more remote from job centers, and then the values of homes that are closer to higher paying jobs like in the Bay Area and Santa Clara County, where you may not see the appreciation that you've seen in the past, you'll probably won't see a heavy price reduction in those areas. So let's go on to the next number, which is $393,977. This is the median sale price for the typical U.S. home that it sat at $393,977 as of November 2022, a 2.9% increase from the previous year, according to data from Redfin. Now, the rate of growth slowed dramatically from earlier in the year, such as in January 2022, when the median sales price was $357,300, clocked in at a 14% higher than the previous year's median price. The rapid rise in mortgage rates, again, we're going to see that throughout this entire podcast. Mortgage rates greatly slowed price growth as buyers retreated from the market but did not manage to bring home prices down significantly. Now, why would that happen? Because a lot of people have been saying the market's going to crash, 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 crash. And the reason why the market has not crashed is because 40% of all Americans who have a home that they own have that home paid off. So there is no high incentive to sell and bring down their pricing when they own their house outright, and they could just wait for the market to turn around before they make a move. And then the rest of the United States, we've been dealing with these 3%, 2 something percent, under 4% mortgage rates for a very long time. And you'd be surprised how many people in the United States took advantage of those rates and actually refinance their loans. And because home values have been going up for a while now, a lot of people are sitting on a lot of equity, which means they do not have to fire sale their house. They can sit on their home as long as they wish. They've got a low payment, they've got good jobs, and they're just hanging out waiting for the market to get better or interest rates to come down before they decide to sell. So we're going to see a kind of a standoff between buyers and sellers, I believe, in 2023, where sellers will put their house on the market, and if it doesn't sell, they might either drop the price a little bit to get somebody to write an offer, or they'll pull it off the market and wait. But because we have such strong equity within the United States of America with homeowners, and they have locked in these low interest rates, which have reduced their payments so that they can stay in their homes, we probably are not going to see a crash. Now, what's the most significant number, I would almost want to say, for this whole entire 2022 year in review for real estate? I would say the number is 7.5%. And that was the peak of the top of the mortgage interest rate for 2022. That's where it got to. We're no longer there, which is a total blessing. It's actually come down. It's in the sixes. Some people are talking about the fact that most mortgage lenders have already baked into the rate the fact that they know that the Fed is going to be doing some more rate increases. And so they've already put that into what their interest rates are currently. So if the Fed starts to dial it back, or they hear talk of it coming down the other direction, or just a halting, that the rates could potentially come down. Now, if we see rates come down at the end of 2023 back into the fours, it could spark the real estate market to go back the other direction. And if homeowners start to hear of that news, they may decide to wait to the latter half of 2023 before they put their homes on the market, or to just hold on for one entire year and wait till 2024 rolls around and the economy is in much better shape, especially those people who are looking to sell and cash out for retirement and wanting to get as many dollars out as they can. Now in California, that can be a catch-22 because we only have $500,000 to write off on the capital gains on a house if you're married, and only $250,000 to write off on capital gains if you're single. And so the more money you make, the more money you start to pay Uncle Sam on the other side. And so even though people are looking at it as retirement, you have a silent business partner called the United States federal government that wants their cut. If you're thinking about how to tax plan for that, I recommend contacting a really good CPA. I can give you some basic ideas, but I am not a licensed accountant. And so it's just from my professional experience in dealing with real estate over the last 17 years. And what's the last and final number? Am I telling the truth? Nope, we have three more. Actually, one more number to go. The last and final number is 37. 37. That is time on market for homes to sell. Now, back in 2021, And back in the first quarter of 2022, that number was unheard of. You would see a house be listed for sale, say on a Monday, and have a contract on it in 7 or 8, maybe 10 days later by the following week on Tuesday. And then these numbers started to creep up over the next few months. It started to go from a week to 2 weeks. Then it went to 3 weeks. Then it went to 4 weeks. And in some areas of California, it could be as much as 6 weeks. But on average, it's 37 days on market during November of 2022, according to Redfin, a 15% increase from November of 2021. So homes spent more and more time on market during the latter half of 2022 as mortgage interest rates did what? Went up. Everything is tied in this real estate market to the interest rate. Now, there are some nuances besides that, and it depends on which area of the country you are living in. I know for the Bay Area, there are a lot of people who buy their homes based on the value of the stock that they have in high-tech companies. And as inflation is rising and people are spending less money, and the high-tech companies are making less profit, they're starting to lay off. Plus, the stock market has not been doing so well lately, and stock values have been coming down because of the uncertainty in the market. And with that, it affects home purchasing in Northern California, especially people who are using their stock as their down payment, so to speak, where they go in and they sell a big chunk and then they use that to purchase a house. When the stock values are high, they get to sell less stock to get more money in order to buy a house. When the stock values are low, they have to sell more stock in order to get the same amount of money. And so they're trying to decide, do I hold on to this stock because it's also part of my retirement plan and my investment strategy, or do I cash it out to buy a house? And so that's a real conversation that people are having in Northern California that will also have an effect on the real estate market here locally. So with the interest rates being high and stock values being low, then that really pulls a lot of buyers out of the market. So what does that mean? That means 2022 was a year of mixed blessing. In the first quarter, everybody was singing the tune and having a good time because the market was strong, the stock market was strong, jobs were plentiful, and people had money, and it seemed to be okay. We were coming out of the pandemic, and a lot of things were looking up. But as inflation started to rear its ugly head, and the Fed decided to manage it with increasing interest rates to make money more expensive and slow the amount of cash in the system, it's really started to hit the real estate market and will continue to do so until those rates start to come down. And real estate is a basket of commodities. As you can see in the picture, my background, you will see everything that relates to having a home right there. You have furniture that people buy when they get a new house. They have electronics, new computers that they upgrade to when they purchase a home. You've got wood, you've got paint, you have windows, you have flooring, you have tile, bathtubs, and then all the labor that's involved with building a house or remodeling a house. It's a big giant basket of commodities, and as the real estate market starts to come down, it affects the entire economy. As the real estate market goes up, it pulls the entire economy up with it. So we have to hope and pray that we can all survive this winter season that may last throughout 2023 as we move into a new year. But something very interesting popped up in my social media feed that talked about faith over fear. Fear says, what if? I'm gonna have to go to my social media because give me a second here. I can't remember what the faith part said. The faith part said, And I'm just going to dip in here real quick. The faith part said, I'm vamping. I can't find it. I knew it as soon as I was going to have to pull it up. Oh, faith says, even if. Fear says, what if? All right? That's it. Faith is even if things are bad, even if I don't see it coming around the corner, even if I'm not sure. Fear says, what if this happens? What if that happens? So I encourage everybody as we move into 2023 to operate from a perspective of faith that says, even if blank, it will be okay. Even if blank, it will be okay. And so I'm going to leave you with this. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. And with that, Happy New Year! I hope everybody has a very fun New Year. Be careful out there. Protect yourselves. Make wise decisions in your travels and your goings to and comings in from place to place. Call an Uber. Call a taxi. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And just have a fantastic new year. We will see you in 2023 on the Real Estate Connection, sponsored by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. And with that, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the United States of America. And if you want to find me, it's right there on Apple Podcasts, The Real Estate Connection. Happy New Year.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal BRE number 0170019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.